Good morning, good afternoon, and good evening to our global audience assembled here today. Welcome to a fresh chapter of the Turing Boundaryless Series. I'm your host, Callie Rothberg, Director of Enterprise Sales here at Turing. And I'd like everyone to put their hands together for a very special guest who has joined me here today. Her name is Barbara Lee. And Barbara Lee leads the product team as Director of Technical Program Management at Turing. Before she joined Turing, she led a team at Amazon, led agile transformation for Ipswich, and has over 11 years of software development experience. Today, we'll learn more about her journey and how the technical program management team is helping Turing bridge the gap between opportunity and talent globally. So, hey, Barbara, we're really excited to have you with us today. Thank you so much for joining. How are you doing?
I'm doing great. Hi, Katie. It's absolutely a pleasure to be here.
Amazing. Great. Well, let's just kind of dive in. I guess before we really begin and get into the technical program management piece and the bulk of our questions, I'd love to know more about your decorated career that you have behind you. So, you've led project and technical program management teams before. Can you tell us more about your journey and how you reached this point in your career?
Sure, absolutely. I started my career in tourism industry after I graduated from a business degree. I also owned a couple of the business. After I become a senior manager for a few years in Hilton Hotel, I started wondering what was behind the browser, how information showed up on the page after I typed the keywords. Mm-hmm. So I left the Hilton and followed my curiosity. I went back to university and got the computer science degree, become a full stack software engineer. I enjoyed software design, coding very much. However, after a few years, I felt something is missing. This feeling just got stronger and stronger. I finally realized it was my business background that urged me to learn how a company brings products to the market. Once again, I followed my curiosity and transitioned to the agile technical program management role. I led agile transformation and worked with cross-functional teams to deliver software products from concept to market. Along the way, I gained experience in many functions like engineering operations, IT infrastructure, security, marketing, UX, legal and compliance, etc. Mm-hmm. So prior to joining Turing, I worked at Amazon Pharmacy, the B2B technical program management team. I came to Turing because I believe in the Turing product's business proposition and in the future of remote working. I want to create impact using my experience and contribute to Turing's success journey. And I enjoy coaching and mentoring teams, build a high performance team to deliver results is my dream.
Amazing. I love that, how you followed your curiosity, changed careers, and that led you to where you are. So awesome. So I think the best way to really start this discussion would be to understand the role of a technical program manager, or as some may call it, a TPM. So can you describe the role of a technical program manager for us?
Yeah. So from now on, I'm going to just use the TPM. TPM is actually we're multiple in general, such as project managers, product owners, scrum masters, sometimes it's engineer leads, etc. So as a TPM, the goal is really to bridge the gap between teams, functions. Think about like a thread connecting all pieces together in a program and then bring everyone to the same page as TPMs drive companies' initiatives and executing the programs to meet business objectives.
Got it. So what, according to you, then, are the most important characteristics or traits of someone that would be a perfect fit for a technical program manager?
You can see as the title, TPM, Technical Program Manager, actually defines the three key competencies of this role. T, technical, is really referring to technical design, technical implementation. So the person who is seeing this role should understand that in order to work with our technical software development team, P is really stands for program. That really refers to project execution and managing the program from the beginning to the end, and then also streamlining the program management processes. The last is management. Management in this case actually referring to the leadership skill set, and then the ownership. As you're driving the program, how you can lead a team or a cross-functional teams all together to bring the program or initiative to cross the finish line. And in addition to those three core competencies, strategic thinking and excellent communication and the people skills are also critical to the TPM role. For example, TPM should be able to evaluate and measure the program impact, and that helps business to prioritize and align to the company goals. So that is really requires the strategic and the systematic thinking. So in many cases, especially in fast-paced environment, and as a TPM, that many times you will run into very hard decisions. So by prioritization and with the healthy judgment, that is the key to bring it to the success. The people skills, by nature, TPM is working with a group of people. So that is also a critical skill set as a leader to lead the team to success. And then the last is the communication piece. TPM really rely on the communication so much throughout, regardless you're managing a large project or working with your stakeholders. So excellent a listener, exceptional communicator would help you along to the success during your management. It's super important for a TPM to articulate concisely and then to the point in meetings or doing status updates, reports, etc.
Got it. Yeah, thanks for laying that all out. It really shows us how many hats you truly do wear. Makes sense. You need those technical aspects and also the people skills to kind of be that thread. So as a leader in the space yourself, can you tell us more about the strategies that the technical program management team uses to specifically align with Turing's larger mission of matching opportunity with talent?
Our strategy is really business focused. TPMs leads and executes programs through the company mission lens and effectively communication. So TPMs work with the cross-functional teams using metrics-driven mechanism to provide transparency into the program execution and then updates for our leadership team to make decisions. And use the metrics-driven mechanism as an example. We build the target metric goals into the program execution and the milestones. And we also validate our MVP product hypothesis, use A/B testing analysis before even roll out the product to production.
Got it. Okay. Great. So I guess, as you're talking more and more about the role, it seems like one of the most important things before working on a product is ensuring seamless processes and collaboration, which is where I'm understanding that the technical program management team steps in. So, what is your leadership approach to building a process for this effective collaboration?
My approach is to bring cross-functional team partners and stakeholders along the way as we build the required processes, frameworks to support the business growth. I believe fostering effective communication relies a few key elements. One is being a good listener. Listen to your stakeholders to understand, fully understand, internalize their point of view.
Mhm.
And that will help you to really immerse in their thoughts into the solution. And then next is create a psychological safety and trust environment while you are communicating with your stakeholders partners. So that will help to nurture creativity and break the collaboration barrier. And I also think it's super important is to drive the transparency in the decision making. Because when you bring stakeholders together, if you don't share them, the reasoning behind, to solving that problem, it's going to be very hard for them to contribute. So by sharing the reasoning and then to really trying to resolve the common issues and share the decision, all that behind the decision that will promote the collaboration. And then the other piece as PBMs as well, like as myself as well, whenever you are communicating, you wanted to know who are your audience. And then you wanted to remove the ambiguity by defining all the clear roles and responsibilities as you're communicating. For example, if I'm communicating with elementary schoolers, I can't use any fancy words. I have to use the language that they understand. For example, how they play with Legos. Using that, maybe example, try to explaining some of the concepts. But if I'm talking to people who are VPs or in the leadership team, I can't go to that kind of a detail. What I have to do is I have to really elevate and go into this elevating speed pitch and then talk about what the point, what is the goal, try to achieve, starts from there and then break down if the leadership understands. So all that still is translated to, your audience, who you are talking to and how you communicate with them. And then last one is really about leading by example. So regardless where you are in the authority chain, always present constructively. So stay open for better collaboration.
Love that. Yeah, that's definitely a great process that you have for building effective collaboration. And so I guess just adding to that and knowing that you are on a fully remote team at Turing, what are some of your favorite tools for managing a remote team?
There are many tools on the market. So everybody has their favorite tools, really depending on the objective in this case. So to my team or to a lot of teams within Turing, so far we use Zoom is one of our main conference call tools. And we also set the standard expectations to everyone. When you join the Zoom, you want to turn on your video because that will build the bond between team members within the call. And then we also use the Slack for the different purpose, which is mostly focusing on the real-time and ad hoc communications. Because that really brings us the speed to move forward instead of calling this meeting is more like a little bit overhead, unless we run into ambiguity like a confusion during the conversation, what do? Is we do a very quick ad hoc call, and then to further clarify what the problem is, what the resolution is. And then the next tool we use really often, actually two tools we use often, is more focusing on the documentation, meeting notes, program management, or asynchronous like document review, and that is they are the G Suite, which is the Google Doc and Google Sheets, and then combined with Atlassian's Confluence. And then the last is the tool we use really often here is actually almost the dedicated tool for our development side is the Jira. We use the Jira really help us to manage our backlog, and then also the story execution all the way bring it to the production for any of the product features.
Great. Yeah, I know a lot of our clients use Jira as well, and all those other tools that you mentioned. So I know that'll be helpful for a lot of our listeners. So switching gears a bit, I think that leaders face some major challenges when building teams in general. So could you share some tips with aspiring technical program management leaders on just building and leading effective teams, especially in a remote first world?
Yeah, in remote first world, it's a little bit more challenging by leading a team compared to you actually have a face-to-face time, because you really don't see each other in person, and we really miss the personal touch piece to create this bond between each individual. And then also with a lot of times you have a new member join, and so you want to build that bond quickly in order to allow you to work together more efficiently. Mm-hmm. So few of the area, the tools or the techniques that I think is important here. One is building the trust. So you want to really create this safety environment within your team. So then that way your team members is willing to share more information and build the trust, and then it's also encourage or promote the collaboration. So that's really important. Without the trust, it's super difficult to discuss, especially when things not going to the right direction. You're trying to bring them back, so it's very challenging. So we should put, as a leader, we should put a lot of effort into building trust. And then the other area I would say is to because everybody are working remotely, there's not a shared working environment. So establishing a very structured framework to guide your team members and then to following certain standard outcomes is also super important. For example, if we are face to face, I could say, hey, can you do this? You may not know what's going on, but at least I can actually bring the example to show you what I'm doing, what are my requirements, or either what I'm looking for, how to write down break down the programs. Mm-hmm. But within, let's say using Slack, you try to describe that. It's super challenging. You have to jump on the call, because a lot of times we don't have this tool that you can talk to each other, to show each other right there. It's also challenging. So what is important is not only you build a more structured way around the requirements, and it's also very important to define the outcome that you are looking for. Mm-hmm. And then within a very structured way as well. So then that way, the person who understand when do you need it, what do you need it, what is the goal you're trying to reach, what kind of format you're looking for. So all that, the more precise it gets, it's actually easier for your team member to work with you. Because then that way they don't need to guess. They know exactly what outcome could supposed to look like. All right. It's more around the requirement. It's like, or we're working for anything else. Yeah. And the other piece is, I think is very important, is the transparency in decision making. Leading a team one is building trust, and the other piece is empower your team member. So the more transparency you build into the communication, what that really help your team member to contribute, and then they will share what their thinking process, and in return that reduce a lot of conflict, and then that's also help a developer a sense of shared ownership that your team member owns, and then that also promote the collaboration as well. So the last piece is the consistency. And I think it's super important as a manager where you want to be always available for your team members for one-on-one. And then that's one typical example, to be consistent, to be there and to hear them. And then to also provide in-time feedback instead of holding all that for a long period of time. So all that will help us to really build this bond and then between you and your remote team members. And then the last, where I would say is to create also very important, is to create a fun working environment. You can utilize that there are so many tools that we can use to create this fun environment. For example, you can create a water cooler, to share with your teams about each individuals who have a fun weekend, who enjoy cooking, to share what the recipes to do. I have a certain of the team members actually really love a certain type of wine, so they really love a certain what the category is, where the grapes are coming, what. So it's super interesting, and it's also allow you to gain a lot of knowledge as well.
Got it. Yeah, really great tips. So transparency, consistency, and just having fun and creating a fun, enjoyable workplace. Love that. So that's really all the questions I had. Curious if you have any closing thoughts or comments, and also just what's the best way for people to learn more about you and stay connected?
Yeah, if you want to reach out to me, you can certainly go into to LinkedIn, and then I will add my LinkedIn information in the description.
Great.
Thank you, Ken.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Barbara. Thank you, everyone that's watching today. Hope you enjoyed our talk and learned a bit more about technical program management. But Barbara, we appreciate your time, and yeah, we'll see everyone on the next video.
Thank you so much, Kelly. It's a pleasure. Take care.